Knight Rider, there's terror in the streets.
There was no accident.
As Kid and Michael risked everything to take on the Bonsai Road Racers in a duel to the death. Sunday.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brenda Wood.
I'm Joe Birch. Join us next for Action News 5. Dozens of senior citizens came out tonight and won a victory at City Hall.
I'm Jane Siegel in Forest City, Arkansas. Reverend Jesse Jackson was here, and I'll tell you what he said later in the broadcast.
I'm Dave Brown. Josephine is now a hurricane.
And Game 1 of the World Series, as you just saw, was a close one. Jack will have the action.
All that and all of tonight's sports news and weather next.
You know, 3 years ago, we started offering you checking accounts at Leader Federal. A lot of folks opened them, but you wanted machines. Then we came up with this insured money market account at Leader. A lot of folks signed up, but you wanted machines. And then when the banks raised their rates of their checking accounts, Leader Federal offered you free checking. A lot of people signed up, but you wanted machines. Machines you wanted, machines you got. We surrender. You win.
South Central Bell three-way calling makes planning ahead a lot easier.
Gilbert? Hold on, I'm adding Fred.
You can talk with two friends at once.
Headed your way, guys. Hurry over.
Without the huff and puff of calling back and forth for just $275 a month. And now save $23.50 with free connection on SCB custom calling services, including call forwarding. Call 1-800-233-1776.
It's for you.
Before November 30th. Hey, don't blow it.
Dillard's anniversary sale has something special in store for you. Evan Picon, impressive at 30 to 40% off. Van Heusen and Aero dress shirts, your choice, $11.99. All Linux dinnerware and stemware, tempting at up to 1/3 off. And Fieldcrest Royal Velvet bath towels, a soft touch, just $5.99. Come in now for Dillard's store-wide anniversary sale. There's something special in store for you.
Feminist leader Gloria Steinem joins Donahue tomorrow morning at 9 on TV5.
From the Channel 5 News Center, this is Action News Tonight. With Brenda Wood, Joe Birch, Dave Brown, Jack Eaton, and the first team in Mid-South Television News.
Good evening, everyone. Memphis police are questioning two suspects in connection with the kidnapping and rapes of 3 women within the past 2 weeks. The suspects are 17 and 18 years of age, but their names have not been released yet. Police have also found the car of the woman who was raped Sunday night. The blue Pontiac Sunbird is now in police custody, but it was found earlier tonight on Lauderdale. Sunday night, 2 men forced a woman into the car as she was walking on the parking lot of the Walgreens drugstore at Park and Highland. The men then drove her to another location where she was raped and robbed. Since that's the second time Walgreens has been the scene of an abduction, a security guard has now been hired there, and Walgreens officials plan to increase lighting and install television monitors. The City Council tonight unanimously approved a zoning change for a new nursing home planned for the Memphis State area.
Some folks living nearby opposed the nursing home, saying there's already too much commercial development in their neighborhood. I was in City Council chambers tonight for the debate.
About 70 folks who live at Wesley Highland Towers stood up in support of the proposed nursing home at tonight's City Council meeting. These folks say a 20-bed nursing home is sorely needed next to their senior citizens' high-rise.
Please, let the aging have their independence as long as they can. In time, all of us will be elderly, and we will want our independence as long as possible.
Here is an artist's rendering of the proposed nursing home. It would be built behind Wesley Highland Towers at Highland and Watauga near Memphis State. Some people who live nearby told the City Council they want no more commercial development in their area.
But if they keep adding developments here and there will be no neighborhood.
But the council approved zoning to allow the nursing home, leading some neighbors to believe even more development may come to their area.
What's going to happen is Memphis State's going to say, we're going to come from the other direction. And the elderly will truly be in an area that looks like Union and Cleveland.
In another zoning case, the council decided to allow 6 homes to be built on businessman Vincent Lucchese's property in East Memphis. Lucchese plans to build 6 houses next to his large home near Yates and Shady Grove. 10 neighbors told the council Lucchese's houses would increase traffic, noise, and pollution and would decrease their property values. After the council approved Lucchese's plan, one area homeowner told me he may move out.
I should like to call attention to the traffic situation that is.
The council tonight also heard from people opposed to the use of city council chambers for partisan political rallies. The dispute began when Vice President Bush was endorsed by Mayor Hackett at City Hall last week. Council decided to take up the matter again next week. Earlier tonight, a city council committee heard from citizens and experts on the pros and cons of less smoking in public and private places. Councilman A.D. Alessandratos wants to expand the current no-smoking law to cover more places, including offices. Right now, smoking is not allowed in public places where signs are posted. A spokesman for the smoking lobby, the Tobacco Institute, said smoking laws cannot be enforced. But one citizen told the panel they are needed to protect non-smokers. Another hearing is set for October 25th. A new ordinance may be drawn up in several months.
Shelby County fire officials are putting together the pieces of how a fire started in the southern part of the county. A 27-year-old man was killed in that fire. The fire was confined to one bedroom at the house on Scarlet Leaf Drive. Firemen say neighbors told them no one was inside the house, but later the firefighters discovered the body of a young man lying on the floor in another bedroom across from the fire. It's believed the fire may have been set by the man inside the house, but an investigation is still going on at this time. His identity is being withheld until his relatives are notified. Agriculture Secretary John Block said tonight President Reagan was not up to par Sunday night in his debate with Walter Mondale. Mr. Block arrived in Memphis tonight to campaign for Congressman Ed Bethune. The Arkansas Republican is running against Senator David Pryor for his Senate seat. Block said Mr. Reagan can do better than he did on Sunday, but Block also took exception to comments that Mr. Reagan's age had anything to do with the president's performance.
I was in a cabinet meeting today with the president, and just as usual, he's right on course with the issues and right on top of the issues. And I think a lot of people probably were amazed at the debate the other night that he had such firm control of so many facts and figures. He may have used too many. Well, thank you.
Secretary Block and Congressman Bethune will tour a farm in Jonesboro, Arkansas tomorrow.
Former Democratic presidential candidate Jesse Jackson was also in the Mid-South tonight, visiting voters in Forest City, Arkansas. His stop at the Civic Center there was another opportunity for him to push the Mondale-Ferraro Democratic ticket. Jane Siegel went to Forest City and has this report.
Likewise, we seek to transform the state of Arkansas.
Reverend Jesse Jackson hasn't much time left to urge folks in Arkansas to register to vote. The deadline is next Tuesday. Several hundred people showed up at the Civic Center in Forest City tonight, and Jackson told them 4 more years of Ronald Reagan would hurt. He said the Mondale-Ferraro team is the only choice.
But if you want better housing, don't curse about it, vote about it. You want better jobs, vote about it. You want better education, vote about it. You want better jobs, vote about it. You want to save your farm, vote about it.
Reverend Jackson criticized President Reagan's performance during Sunday's debate with Walter Mondale, saying the president was in very poor form.
Reagan stood there nervous. Incoherent, couldn't remember his lines. Couldn't hear the questions.
At a news conference, I asked Reverend Jackson if he planned to make any campaign appearances with Geraldine Ferraro, as he did last week in Memphis.
Indeed, I will, but so much of our work is not together because we can draw crowds and educate people independently.
Reverend Jackson says his efforts to get new registered voters on the rolls won't be in vain. He expects a record number to actually vote next month.
But people tend to be motivated by their survival options. There's a lot at stake on November the 6th.
Immediately after the meeting, Jackson went to Little Rock to speak before a group there. Jane Siegel, Action News Tonight, Forest City, Arkansas.
For the next several weeks, Jackson's schedule will be about as hectic as the presidential candidates as he continues to campaign for the Democrats. Well, coming up on Action News 5, we'll tell you about a policy change at the city's animal shelter.
With South Central Bell call waiting, important calls get through.
You don't know anyone who'll go out with me? Hold on, I have another call. Hi, Lily. Want to see my new pad?
It's almost like having an extra line for only $2.75 a month. And now if you hop to it, you can get free connection. Call 1-800-233-1776 before November 30th and save $23.50 on SCB custom calling services, including speed calling.
Sam, you're not going to believe this.
Today's car engines work harder than ever. For the protection you need, look to the quality motor oils from Exxon. Protection against intense engine heat. Protection against punishing cold. Protection against grinding friction. For the protection that's just right for your car, look to the quality motor oils from Exxon. Quality you can count on.
From the Smoky Mountains to the Mississippi, there's one bank that leads the way. Union Planters National Bank, the bank for a brand new day. Yeah, we're leading the way. Union Planters leads the way. We're leading the way. Union Planters leads the way. Union Planters leads the way.
A Milwaukee woman is in critical condition tonight after her husband doused her with gasoline and set her on fire. City officials say the man had watched the NBC movie The Burning Bed last night. In it, a battered wife killed her husband by burning him to death while he slept. The Milwaukee man says after the movie he decided to scare his wife. He is in police custody tonight but has not been charged. His wife has third-degree burns over 95% of her body.
In Mississippi, some convicts may be headed home a little early. The state corrections commissioner says he'll ask Governor Bill Elaine to authorize early parole for some prisoners because of overcrowding. The governor has already released almost 150 inmates this year. There are close to 350 prisoners over the limit set by a federal court. Disbarred attorney Mary Evans wants to have an early parole. She's scheduled to appear before the Tennessee State Paroles Board tomorrow. Ms. Evans was convicted, you may recall, this spring for helping her client, convicted killer William Timothy Kirk, escape from prison. The two dodged police for 8 months before being recaptured. Ms. Evans isn't due for parole for another 4 months.
People who take pets to the Memphis Animal Shelter will have to answer a new question from now on. That is, do they want that pet sold for research? About 24,000 animals come into the city-operated shelter each year. Last year, 9,000 were put to sleep and about 4,000 were sold for research. Controversy over selling animals for research caused the change. Assistant City Chief Administrator Mike French told Janet Morris today, pet owners have always had to sign a release card on their pets, but a new question about research has been added.
Now, with the new system, it gives the owner the choice of the fate of the animal, whether or not the animal goes to disposed of in other ways.
Some shelter animals are adopted by new owners each year. The new policy does not affect the fate of unclaimed strays brought in by city employees.
There is much more news ahead tonight on Action News 5. Congressional leaders go for the short term again tonight, and a retired general gets ready for a 4-star lawsuit. Coming up.
In the past few weeks, you could have called these people on 56 WHBQ AM radio. Imagine who you could call tomorrow on 56 WHBQ AM News Talk Radio.
Listen, you won't miss a thing.
Dillard's anniversary sale has something special in store for you. Evan Picon, impressive at 30 to 40% off. Van Heusen and Aero dress shirts, your choice, $11.99. All Linux dinnerware and stemware, tempting at up to 1/3 off. And Fieldcrest Royal Velvet bath towels, a soft touch, just $5.99. Come in now for Dillard's store-wide anniversary sale. There's something special in store for you.
are switching. More and more people are switching to the 1985 Lincoln Town Car.
The switch is on. The switch is on to your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
While competition downsizes, Lincoln Town Car remains undiminished with more interior room than any other luxury car. Truly full-size ride and comfort.
The switch is on at the side of the couch.
Tonight, Congress has decided to keep the government funded with yet another temporary bill, hours before the present funding runs out. Tonight, before a midnight deadline, the Senate and the House have passed the measure that will keep federal offices from shutting down temporarily. This is the fourth time this week the House has passed a funding bill to keep the government operating. The new stopgap bill will expire on Thursday. Congressional negotiators have been trying to work out a long-term spending package, but still have not reached a compromise. In other action tonight, Congress failed to pass a bill that would grant amnesty to millions of illegal aliens already in this country. Congressional negotiators could not agree on reimbursement for those states that would comply with the act.
The Supreme Court ruled today that the government of Iran cannot be sued by the Americans who were held hostage in Iran. Without comment, the High Court rejected appeals by 14 former hostages and 4 family members who sought more than $65 million in damages. From 1979 until January 1981, 50 Americans were held captive in Iran. They were freed under an agreement with the Carter administration blocking any lawsuits by the hostages against Iran. Today, the Supreme Court upheld a lower court ruling that said allowing Americans to sue foreign governments would expose the U.S. to similar lawsuits by foreigners. Jury selection is expected to be completed tomorrow in the $120 million libel suit by General William Westmoreland against CBS television. The network aired a documentary in 1982 that claimed Westmoreland lied about enemy troop strength in the Vietnam War to make the president and the public think the war could be won. The trial is expected to take months and involve hundreds of witnesses dealing with individual rights, freedom of the press, and the conduct of commanders during the Vietnam conflict.
Workers at Clark Tower got a late start today. All of the power inside the office building in East Memphis was out this morning. Memphis Light, Gas, and Water workers thought they'd be through putting in a new electrical transformer by early morning, but it took much longer than expected. All of the 100 businesses at Clark Tower were shut down as a result, so the 2,500 people who work there couldn't get much done.
Well, my staff have gone home now to call their clients to tell them to, that we are out of business for the day and to get back to us later on today.
The power was restored to Clark Tower around 11 o'clock this morning, but for some folks that was already too late because they've been sent home.
Well, baseball fans know we're on an hour late tonight because the World Series, the first World Series game, aired tonight right here on TV5, right?
I picked San Diego. Brenda picked Detroit, for heaven's sakes. Well, all the action and more when we come back. Hang in there.
Taste the good from the good old days. Good old-fashioned flavor, good old-fashioned price. Taste the good from the good old days.
Clink ice cream, the taste you grew up with. All the flavor of the good old days at a good old-fashioned price. It tastes too good to cost so little.
Taste the good from the good old days. Clink ice cream, clink ice cream, clink ice cream.
For Tom Casey, whose gasoline chickened out every time he tried to pass. Now, as always, there's the gas with guts with its extra octane to help you accelerate, climb, and pass without laying an egg. For Morton Mitchell, who demands the right gas, but at the right price, Gulf Self-Service makes more sense for less sense.
Gulf, everything we do makes driving better for you.
It's important that we have a strong national defense posture. The price of freedom is not free. On the other hand, we need to make sure that we spend our dollars wisely and in a frugal manner while maintaining a strong national defense. Fraud, whether it occurs in welfare or in the Defense Department, is still fraud and it's still wrong.
Victor Ash, the clear choice for U.S. Senate.
Victor Ash, he's downright Tennessee.
Well, the experts are predicting that Detroit will win the World Series. Jack, of course, is predicting that the Padres will win the World Series. Experts right.
Well, no, don't get so hasty there, young man. I may have to rethink my position, but I did pick the Padres in 6 games. Donnie Kessinger picked Detroit in 6 games.
Yes, well, at least you got the 6 games right.
I don't know. Boy, oh boy, what a way to start a World Series. A honey in San Diego tonight. As the Detroit Tigers jumped away to a 1-zip lead in the best-of-7 series. Here is some of the action. Boy, I mean, this was just an outstanding game. Okay. Tigers leading 1-zip in the first. They took the lead 1-zip right here. Alan Trammell after Lou Whitaker's double. And the favored Tigers led as expected, but the San Diego Padres came roaring back. In the bottom of the first with Garvey and Nettles aboard, Terry Kennedy, the old Cardinal, rips one to the right field corner. Both runners come around, and bingo! San Diego leads 2-1. And I'm thinking I got a pretty good bet right here. But the Tigers took the lead in the 5th. One of them swing of Larry Herndon's bat, the ex-Douglas High athlete from Memphis, popped it over the wall, and in the 5th inning, Detroit led 3-2. Then look what the Tigers did. They turned it over to this man right here, Jack Morris, and boy, was he tough. He retired the last 6 hitters in a row. There's the final out of the ballgame. Gary Templeton bounds her down to first, and Jack Morris won the game. I mean, this was some kind of a pitching effort by Jack Morris. He was outstanding. There's the line score, 3-8 and zip for the Tigers. The Padres 2-8-1. Jack Morris gets the win. Mark Thurman, the tough luck loser. Game 2 tomorrow night right here on TV5. It all starts at 7 o'clock. Other news tonight, there was a major trade of the NFL today. The Houston Oilers sent running back Earl Campbell to the New Orleans Saints for a first-round draft pick in 1985. Campbell was, to say the least, philosophical about the deal.
Well, I think this, though. I think this is a business that I'm involved in, and it just so happened that in sports business, you know, you have to get traded around sometimes. And I don't know. I hope it's good for them, and I hope it's good for me.
Campbell will be reunited with his former coach, Bum Phillips, the coach of Houston, before going to New Orleans. Phillips said, one of the great understatements, I'm glad to have Earl back. Still on the subject of football, somewhere it is carved in stone that a football coach shall not say anything bad about an opponent. Well, UT plays Florida this week, and when asked about the Gators, Coach Johnny Majors said, for starters, they have the best offensive line in the country. Then he added this.
They have tremendous running backs with outstanding speed and ability and good depth. Wide receivers are fruitful, and their kicking game is one of the best, if not the best, in America in returns and kicking.
How are you going to beat a team like that? The game will be played in Knoxville this coming Saturday. The Vols had the week off last week to rest up, and the way Coach Johnny Majors talks, they're going to need it. The Arkansas State women's tennis team came over from Jonesboro today to play the Lady Lynx Cats from Rhodes College, and the visitors walked away with a match 7-2. A big win for Arkansas State as they handed the Lady Lynx Cats their first defeat of the season. The old saying in baseball is that when a manager is hired, he's already been fired. They just haven't set the date. Well, not all managers, I'll tell you that. John McNamara, the head of the California Angels, said today that he didn't want to manage the team anymore. Now, the Angels, you may recall, finished tied for second in the AL West behind Kansas City. The Royals, the Angels front office said they wanted him back, but McNamara said, no thanks, I'll do something else. And one junior high score today called in. Corey defeated Hamilton 22-6. Corey is now 3-0 on the year.
Very good. Very good. We'll
Joe,
see how you do on the predictions tomorrow night.
I don't give up on the San Diego Padres.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, Joe.
Brenda.
Don't give up on the weather either. It's going to be very nice the latter part of this week.
It is. We have one more unsettled day to get by, though, and I have lots of other interesting weather things to show you in just a moment.
Neurosurgery. Through the use of the latest surgical technology, a laser beam in combination with a surgical microscope, doctors can now vaporize selected brain tumors affecting the central nervous system. Laser replaces scalpel, and tumors that were once considered inoperable can now be removed. Laser neurosurgery, less risk, less trauma, and a faster recovery. Baptist Hospital, a leader in world medicine.
There's more to First Federal Savings than federally insured savings programs and the market basket approach to IRAs you've heard me talk about. First Federal makes loans, adjustable rate mortgages, and second mortgage loans. First Federal also provides checking accounts that earn interest, money market accounts, certificates of deposit, direct deposit of benefit checks, and free traveler's checks to First Federal customers. First Federal can help you with more than just savings. Call or come by anytime. 150 East Court or 5540 Poplar.
It's a big sale at Fleming Farm Furniture.
We want your business, and we're going to get it with our biggest sale of the year. Guaranteed store-wide savings as we force liquidation of current stock and get ready for new fall goods.
This is a big sale, big service, big savings, big selection on big name furniture, all at big savings.
Shop all the other big sales in town, then shop the big sale at Fleming's. We don't mess around. Save 32 to 68% store-wide.
Throw out your old furniture and get ready for new. Furniture prices have tumbled during the big sale at Fleming's.
It takes a big store to run this big sale.
Right, Dad.
Space Shuttle Challenger been having a lot of technical problems. Looks like something's brewing in the Atlantic, may give it some more problems.
Yeah, they're a little bit concerned about Challenger, and they may postpone the landing for one day. The biggest concern is weather. It isn't the only concern, but the 7 astronauts may have to stay up in space an extra day because Hurricane Josephine looks as though it may be causing some problems around the landing area at Cape Canaveral, Florida. The delayed landing would also, though, give crew members time to catch up on some of the scientific work they missed because of those technical problems. Where is that hurricane? Well, right now it is east of the Bahamas. A little arrow down there, a little white blob, shows it moving to the northwest. Maximum winds now up to 85 miles per hour. It is expected that the storm will move very little during the next 24 hours, so it may still be causing some problems for the central Florida coast by the weekend. What about weather around here? Well, we started the day with some fog, quite a bit of patchy fog over the area. This is the way the skyline looked early this morning, shrouded in a blanket of fog. One of my favorite expressions, and that's the way it looked downtown today. Thunder shower south of the city this afternoon caused a rather interesting rainbow this afternoon late. So we start the day with fog, we end it with a rainbow, and in between we had a high temperature of 81 degrees. 78 is normal. The record is 90 in 1980. Our low this morning, 66. The record 37 in 1951. Sunrise and sunset you see for tomorrow. The river is at 0 on the gauge, up a 1/10 of a foot since yesterday. In Memphis now, it's cloudy, 69 degrees, wind southeast at 5. The barometer is 3015, holding steady, and the relative humidity is at 93%. Here's the satellite tonight. We're looking for clouds, and we're seeing a bunch of them over the south central United States. Actually, the clouds extend all the way up into the plain states. Broken here, there has been quite a bit of rain, a lot of thunder shower activity. Heaviest would seem to be right here in extreme eastern Texas and covering Louisiana. That's where the big thunderstorms have been occurring tonight. Most of those are moving to the north-northwest. I don't think they'll be affecting most of the TV5 viewing area. We are seeing a couple of thunder showers over around Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Storm Surge 5 144-mile range shows, well, actually between Pine Bluff and Stuttgart. These are moving to the northwest, so they're headed between Little Rock and Searcy. I don't think they're going to be coming this way. More activity over extreme northwestern Mississippi. That won't affect the city either. Here's Super Radar. A lot less activity than there was at 5 o'clock this afternoon. You can see Louisiana pretty well covered with rain. Same thing applies to southern Mississippi, extreme southwestern Alabama, and eastern Texas tonight. All of that's associated with an upper air storm, which is way up over Nebraska. There's a line of low pressure down over that area. That's going to be swinging across Memphis and the rest of the Mid-South tomorrow. There will be a chance of a thunder shower when that happens, but eventually that's going to go by. And this high pressure center to the east of us will build back in here, and that means the skies will begin to clear after tomorrow's unsettled weather. Tomorrow it will be cloudy, as the map shows. There will be scattered showers around, high pressure to the west, high pressure to the east, and again, this is the one that will be reforming. This is the clearing air that moves back to the west and brings us better weather and warmer temperatures for late in the week. Tomorrow, highs will again be in the 70s for all of the viewing area. Overnight lows tonight look like this. I expect 62 in Dyersburg, Forest City 65, 63 out in Millington. Here in Memphis, skies will be partly cloudy for the rest of the night. Some fog developing with a low of 65. Rush hour cloudy, fog 66 degrees. High tomorrow 78 with scattered thunder showers at just about any time. But the outlook shows that after tomorrow, we should be rain-free for the rest of the week. Temperatures climbing to the mid-80s. Overnight lows remaining in the 60s from now through Sunday night.
Very mild forecast there. Thank you, Dave. Joe?
Well, it is daybreak at Memphis State tonight. We'll explain when we return.
Right now, an NBC auto loan or equi-loan is something special to St. Jude, because when you get either one from NBC, NBC gives a $50 financial gift to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in your name. An auto loan or equi-loan from NBC. Something extra for some extra special kids.
The child is the most precious gift we have. And with your help, we can offer a child a gift in return, the gift of life.
Elizabeth Arden invents skin care for your lips. Announcing Lip Fix, the light silky cream that goes on when lips are bare, ready for care. Lip Fix instantly controls lipstick bleeding and running. Lip Fix smooths out tiny dryness lines, makes dry lips lush and moist. Beautiful, beautiful lips. Visible difference Lip Fix from Elizabeth Arden. Lip creme, your gift when you purchase Lip Fix.
In cosmetics at Goldsmiths.
16 years ago, America's favorite sandwich was born, the Big Mac.
16 candles.
And McDonald's invites you to join the party with a Big Mac birthday pack. The 7-story Big Mac, a larger of world-famous fries, and an ice-cold, medium-sized Coca-Cola.
16 ounces.
The Big Mac birthday pack, a wish come true.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Homecoming at Memphis State is still a few days away, but the celebrating has already begun on campus at the University Center Ballroom. The contemporary Christian rock band Daybreak performed this evening. The group plays Christian music with a rock sound, and 2 of its recordings are already being played on contemporary gospel radio station. All of the members of Daybreak are from Memphis and have attended MSU. And they're getting ready for the big game Saturday night with Southwest Louisiana.
Yes, the big game that we are going to win. I've already said
no
that.
ties.
That is it for us. Thank you all for watching.
Good night.
Heart to Heart, weekday afternoons at 3:30 on TV5.